Good evening and welcome. You're with News First, your number one news provider. I'm Shamir Rasuldin.
And I'm Katrina Chang. Before we get into your stories in detail, let's first take a look at your headlines tonight.
President holds special discussion with the representatives of the SLFP over the party's future course of action. Venerable Atharaliya Ratanathero issues a warning to the government.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය කියනවා නම් පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විසිරුවා හරින්නේ කියලා අපට සිද්ධ වෙනවා මේ අභිලාෂය ඉෂ්ට කිරීම සඳහා අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක් පවතින පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙන් බිහි කරන්න.
Disagreement in the Northwestern and Eastern Provincial Council meetings creates chaos within the chambers. Two suspects arrested over the murder of a schoolboy in Udavalava.
On top story tonight, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party convened a special meeting in Colombo today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena. Legal advisor to the President, Faiza Mustafa, said during the meeting, President Maithripala Sirisena had emphasized the need to strengthen the SLFP.
The meeting took place at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute in Colombo and saw the participation of SLFP parliamentarians and provincial councillors. The future plans of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party were extensively discussed during the over 1.5-hour meeting.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party's readiness for the next election was discussed. His Excellency the President first voiced his thoughts and late Kumara Welgama and Lakshman Seneviratne expressed their opinions. Thereafter, the President expressed his view on the need for everyone in the party to work together and also to take the required steps to achieve this. Views were also expressed on the participation of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at this election campaign. The Council unanimously decided to appoint a group comprising of party seniors and discuss on how the former President and the present Chairman of the party can work together and move forward.
පක්ෂයේ එකමුතුභාවය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉදිරියට කටයුතු කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් වැඩිදුරටත් සාකච්ඡා කරන්න.
Thereby, a committee has been appointed comprising of Kumara Welgama, TB Ekanayaka, Dilan Pereira and WDJ Seneviratne.
පක්ෂය තීන්දුව කළා තියෙන්නේ
The party will be steered to victory under the leadership of Maithripala Sirisena and he will be joined by Mahinda Rajapaksa as well. As the party had taken this decision, a correct decision will be taken on who the Prime Minister shall be.
The President explained to the party supporters that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party must contest undivided. A group of SLFP MPs were appointed to resolve any issues within the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and maintain the unity of the party. Another matter that the President touched on was that when he met Mahinda Rajapaksa in Parliament, the President had said that he is open for discussions. Following discussions, all differences can be cast aside and a journey should be undertaken to move forward. I believe that the committee that was appointed today would serve as the foundation of the previous discussion held between President Maithripala Sirisena and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to strengthen the unity of the party in order to face elections and any challenge together as one single party.
Elephant
House sausages since 1966.
While a special meeting of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was convened by President Maithripala Sirisena, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa had summoned a number of provincial councillors to the Abhayarama temple in Narhenpeta.
The group of provincial councillors had called on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Abhayarama this afternoon and engaged in a discussion. A group of local government politicians were also present. Mahinda Rajapaksa also responded to questions posed by journalists prior to the discussion.
මට පහසුම අපිට පහසුම එක තමයි මේ අලුත් ක්‍රමයේ යටතේ මැතිවරණයක් තියෙන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබතුමා මැතිවරණයකට එන්නේ අලුත් ක්‍රමයේ අවශ්‍ය නෑ දෙකම. මොකද මට ඇහුන්නේ නෑ ඒක. ඔබතුමා ඒ කියන්නේ මැතිවරණයකට එන්නේ අලුත් ක්‍රමයේ. මම කියලා දිනවා දෙනවා කියලා. නෑ දෙකම පහසුයි අපිට ඕන කෙනෙකුට. විපක්ෂයට පහසුයි. ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ ඉන්න අයට අමාරුයි.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga expressed the following views over the phone during the 7 p.m. primetime news bulletin on our sister channel Sirsa TV.
The matter that I informed Sirsa yesterday was proven today. Today, the chairman of the party, President Maithripala Sirisena, had called the party MPs and provincial councillors for a meeting. However, Mahinda Rajapaksa had called a group of them to a separate location and convened a meeting. This is to disrupt the meeting convened by the chairman of the party, President Maithripala Sirisena. This is becoming a joke. Mahinda Rajapaksa is attempting to divide the party and destroy it, similar to what he did in the 1980s. I do not understand the efforts taken to resolve this through discussions with him.
The United National Party announced today that Mahinda Rajapaksa and his group have undertaken the contract of destroying the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
In the past, it was Mahinda Rajapaksa who undertook the responsibility of destroying the United National Party, the JVP, the JHU, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, the Ceylon Working Congress and many other parties. These petty agendas still run in the blood of Mahinda Rajapaksa. Together, he and his gang have undertaken the contract of destroying the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. They will not fall asleep if the SLFP is not destroyed. We witnessed the ghost of this task in Matara.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය දෙකට කැඩීමේ ව්‍යාප
Dinesh Gunawardena, Vasudeva Nanayakkara and Vimal Veerawangsa are taking forth the contract to separate and destroy the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. We are thankful to them because they have divided the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
දෙකට කඩලා විනාශ කරලා තියෙනවා.
Party leaders have decided to take up the no-confidence motion against Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake for debate on the 6th of next month. Deputy Speaker Chandama Veerakkodi stated that the party leaders have decided to debate on the no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in Parliament during the 3rd week of next month. Chandama Veerakkodi stated that the Speaker informed of this at the party leaders' meeting held this morning.
The United National Party says Parliament needs to be dissolved to provide an opportunity for the people to express on who they have faith in. Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla elaborated on the stance of the United National Party at a press conference convened today.
The people are asking for an election. You must have witnessed that the government, the opposition and the Speaker of Parliament agreed on this. During this time period, they are bringing forth a no-confidence motion. The 20th Amendment to the Constitution is brought forward. They are saying to enact the 20th Amendment to the Constitution and are bringing forth motions of no confidence to fulfill their ulterior motives. The Working Committee of the United National Party took a clear decision. Parliament needs to be dissolved and the people need to be given the opportunity to express as to who they trust.
Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathero warns that if the United National Party does not support the 20th Amendment to the Constitution for electoral reforms, a new government will be required. Speaking at a press conference convened by the National Council for a Clean Tomorrow organisation, the Venerable Thero noted that the 20th Amendment to the Constitution needs to be passed before dissolving Parliament.
It is amidst the greatest difficulty that we achieved victory. We need to fulfill the facts that were noted in that difficult task and not settle with the easy ones. There is no issue in dissolving Parliament, but at least pass the 20th Amendment to the Constitution and then dissolve Parliament. If the United National Party is saying to dissolve Parliament, it means that they cannot operate a government. If they are saying such a thing, we are compelled to create a new government to fulfill these requirements only to pass these bills.
Speaking further, Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathero emphasised on the need for the passage of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution through a common consensus.
Parliament is simply an agenda to commemorate those who have died. At a time when there is a provision to build a common consensus among the two major political parties, rather than moving on a certain agenda, what is done is wasting the time of the entire Parliament. Today the Parliament is going astray. Politics is simply a rest house today. We need to change the situation immediately. The most important bill is the 20th Amendment to the Constitution, where the preferential voting system will be abolished. You cannot bring a system that will please only the major parties and minority parties. We need to reach a consensus on the electoral system. It should not cause harm to the proportional system as well.
Let's take a listen to the views expressed by members of the public on the need for electoral reforms.
If you take a look at the present electoral system, rich persons and drug barons enter parliament. We need intelligent persons like teachers and doctors to enter parliament and stop the entrance of businessmen. Pass the 20th Amendment to the Constitution and send intelligent leaders to Parliament. The United National Party is silent over this. We cannot be satisfied with the behavior of the United National Party over the constitutional amendment. All parties must work together and pass the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. The people need to be allowed to select their own public representative from the political party they prefer. The tug of war which is taking place to achieve one's own political agendas has resulted in taking a step back. There are persons who are pulling back the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. We will provide them with an answer at this election. Even then, we said to pass the 20th Amendment to the Constitution along with the 19th. An election can be anticipated with the passage of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. We find it difficult to understand it because in the media we see the UMP making different statements. The United National Party is calling for Parliament to be dissolved because they are trying to avoid this. I am against the dissolution of Parliament. The passage of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution is a victory for the people. The only service we expect from the good governance is for public representatives that will be elected from electoral level. The 20th Amendment to the Constitution is one of the most significant constitutional amendments. Such is the acceptance in society. Amend it and create a people-friendly parliament. The preferential vote system is of no use. The rogues need to be removed. Good individuals need to enter parliament. The United National Party needs to put aside its two-faced agenda and join in abolishing the preferential vote system. That is what the people want. Intelligent persons need to enter politics and represent people in parliament. It is evident that Ranil Wickremesinghe wants to maintain the current system of ensuring the drug barons and corrupt persons enter parliament.
වර්තමාන ක්‍රමය තවදුරටත් පවත්වාගෙන යාමේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන බව තමයි කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. මේ මැතිවරණ ක්‍රමය ඉතා පැහැදිලිව
The electoral system must be amended. This electoral system is created so that the rich and powerful can enter parliament.
අධිකාර බලවන්ත වෙච්ච පුජ්‍යලයන්ට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මේ වඩපිටාවක් විතරයි.
In his opening statement to the 29th session of the Human Rights Council, Zaid Ral Al Hussein, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, says that the new government in Sri Lanka has passed a constitutional amendment which, if implemented appropriately, brings renewed hope for democracy and the rule of law.
The new government in Sri Lanka has passed a constitutional amendment which, if implemented appropriately, brings renewed hope for democracy and the rule of law. OHCHR will remain very engaged in discussions with the Sri Lankan authorities on the need for transparent and inclusive processes to develop credible mechanisms for accountability and reconciliation ahead of my report to the September session. I encourage the government to consult broadly with all political parties, civil society, and above all victims and their families to ensure full national support and ownership of these processes.
Welcome back to the news. Tensions broke during the session of the North-Western Provincial Council and the Eastern Provincial Council. The reasons for the tension were two appointments made to the provincial councils. Two names were proposed for the vacant position of Deputy Chairman at the North-Western Provincial Council. Tikiri Adhikari was proposed by the ruling party, while Hector Appohami was proposed by the opposition. Chief Minister of North-Western Provincial Council, Dayasiri Jayasekara, called for an open vote. However, objecting to this, the opposition called for a secret vote. Thereby, later, the chairman of the council proposed for a secret vote to be called for. However, during the vote, the Chief Minister marked his ballot and showed it to the councillors, to which the opposition voiced its objection. Later, another secret vote was called for, and Councillor Tikiri Adhikari received 30 votes, while Hector Appohami received only 14 votes. Thereby, Tikiri Adhikari was appointed as Deputy Chairman of the Council with a majority vote. Later, a request was made to the Chairman to postpone the session, citing that the ruling party councillors had been called to Colombo. The opposition then too protested against it. According to the agenda for the day, the no-confidence motion against North-Western Province Governor Amarapia Seeli Ratnayaka was to be taken up on the day.
A no-confidence motion was brought against the governor. They were not prepared for the no-confidence motion. You cannot speak for 15 minutes. There are issues surrounding this. It is not a question of 34 or 33 in it. There are matters that have not been laid out that need to be discussed. Let us take this up during the next session.
Amidst these objections, the chairman of the council was compelled to call for a vote to postpone the session. 27 votes were cast in favour, while 14 votes were cast against it, and thereby the council sessions were postponed to the 30th. Meanwhile, tensions also rose in the Eastern Provincial Council today over a discussion to appoint an opposition leader to the position left vacant for 6 months. The United People's Freedom Alliance proposed that Vimlavira Dissanayake be appointed as the opposition leader. Later during the sessions, 8 UPFA councillors presented a document that can be accepted as an affidavit to the chairman, and Vimlavira Dissanayake was appointed as the opposition leader.
Operations at the Mahinda Rajapaksa International Airport have been limited to 1 flight per day. According to officials at the airport, the plane arrives from Katunayaka to Mattala and then flies to Abu Dhabi.
The Mattala Mahinda Rajapaksa International Airport was constructed as the second international airport of Sri Lanka. However, this is the fate that has befallen this airport. With pieces from the safety fence up on either side of the road being taken away by unknown persons, many gateways have been created for the cattle to enter the road. The sole plane that arrives at the Mattala airport flies to Abu Dhabi without a single glance at this peacock structure. This is because no passenger uses this road. A malfunctioned road light system has created an environment that is most preferred by wild elephants that roam the streets at night. The reason the lighting system to malfunction is that certain persons have taken away pieces of wiring that is supposed to light up the streets. The access road, which has been constructed at a huge cost, is currently being used to dry the paper harvest.
An airport was built. There is no water that can be used. We are rendered helpless. Millions were spent to build this international airport. The only residents here are the cattle and wild elephants. Outsiders come here and dry their paper harvests. There is nothing here, as I said before. I set up shop close to the airport. I have no business. There is no means of income. All the workshops have shut down. Some have purchased vehicles and motorbikes. Those too might be taken away by the finance companies. The people have been rendered helpless.
The only request by these locals is that the Mattala International Airport, which is also prone to wild elephant attacks, not be cast aside, and the airport, constructed at a cost of billions, be made use of.
Sajid Premadasa, the Minister of Housing and Samudi, says that some are attempting to sabotage the process of providing relief to the people. The Minister made this statement at an event held in Lunugambehera yesterday.
Minister Sajid Premadasa presented loans to 327 families under the Lunugambehera Divisional Secretariat under the Samata Sevana Housing Loan Programme yesterday. When we are providing relief for the people, there are some who are jealous of us. They attempt to sabotage our programs. These persons engage in acts to destroy our programs. It is they who misuse public property. It is they who sold the state lands to imperialist foreigners, rulers of the past divided among themselves. And today, they cannot stand it when we are dividing relief to the people through our programs.
Veteran actor Tony Ranasinghe, who rendered a yeoman's service to the Sri Lankan cinema industry, passed away today. He was 77 years old at the time of his death.
Tony Ranasinghe entered the spotlight with his appearance on the Ranthodu stage play and was later well known as the Shakespeare of Sri Lankan stage plays. He rendered his immense and tireless efforts to translate the original Shakespeare play. Sri Lankan viewers were able to enjoy world-famous Shakespeare plays such as The Merchant of Venice, Julius Caesar and Othello because of the relentless efforts undertaken by persons such as Tony Ranasinghe. Tony Ranasinghe, who entered cinema in 1964 through Gamperaliya, gave new life to the youth movement of this country. He also contributed to the productions of Dilawak Atara, Parasatumal, Hantane Katawa, Duhulu Malak and Ahasin Polavata. Tony Ranasinghe, who took to screenwriting with Koti Valigaya, went on to win not only local but also international awards for his unique talents. Tony Ranasinghe, who made his voice heard for over 5 decades, leaves behind creations that will be enjoyed by generations to come.
A police constable attached to the Paliaguda Crime Division, arrested over the involvement in a heroin trade, is being questioned further. The police said that the constable was produced before the Wattala magistrate today and a detention order of 7 days was obtained to question the suspect.
A woman engaged in the drug trade was arrested by the police special task force yesterday along with another man in Wattala for the possession of 3 grams of heroin. Upon questioning the 2 suspects, the police had made an astonishing discovery as the duo claimed that they were supplied with the narcotics by a constable attached to the Paliaguda police. The suspects had further revealed that the money earned through the sale of narcotics are handed over to the police constable at the end of the day. The police said that the suspect police constable was arrested after he was informed to come and obtain the day's collection. The police media spokesperson said that the suspect police constable has been suspended. Meanwhile, the Police Narcotics Bureau said that the suspect, who was arrested on Sunday in Wattala along with 3 kilograms of drugs, is being interrogated under detention orders. If you possess any information on drugs, inform News First. Simply log on to www.Newsfirst.lk for more details.
P. Digambaram, the Minister of Plantation Infrastructure Development, expressed the following views subsequent to a press conference convened in Kandy.
When there is a flaw, that is highlighted. They say that drug barons, marijuana dealers and rich come through this system. You cannot say that they are the only ones elected through that. The leader should appoint good persons for this. The party leader must give the place to the good individual.
Police have made 2 arrests over the murder of a 17-year-old schoolboy in Kolumbageyara, Udawalawa. The police media unit said that the suspects aged 17 and 21 were arrested last night. Police say that a romantic relationship may have resulted in the murder.
The body of the 17-year-old schoolboy Hasitha Niranjana currently lies at his residence. The deceased 17-year-old Hasitha Niranjana was a grade 11 student at the Kolumbageyara Mahavidyalaya and was to sit for the ordinary level examination this year. The only boy in the family with 2 sisters, Hasitha had left his house on Sunday evening to attend a tuition class. His whereabouts were unknown since then, and his murdered body was discovered early last morning in a teak forest less than 2 kilometers away from his house. A correspondent based in the area said that he had visited the location of the tuition class, which is 300 meters away from his house. However, he had not entered the premises, and the police suspect that he may have been taken away in a three-wheeler that was later seized by the police. It can be assumed that he had been taken almost a kilometer away from his house in the three-wheeler and then entered into a by-road. Bloodstains were discovered 500 meters down the said road. According to a correspondent, bloodstains were discovered in a 30-meter stretch of the road. The body was discovered at the teak forest at the end of the blood trail. According to the relatives, one suspect had threatened the victim on a previous occasion.
This was premeditated murder, and he was forcibly put into a three-wheeler near his tuition class. 2 or 3 days earlier, there was a verbal conflict between these two. We suspect that this murder was a result of that conflict.
The OIC of the Crimes Unit at the Udawalawe Police, who headed the investigation, has been transferred to the Ayagama Police Station.
International Symposium on Energy Challenges in the Knowledge Economy, 26th and 27th June at the Hilton Colombo, organized by the Ministry of Power and Energy. Keynote address by Dr. Abdul Kalam, former President of India. For registration, email your biodata to energysymposium@gmail.com. For details, log on to www.energysymposium.lk. Electronic media partner, Newsfirst.
And that's a look at your primetime news tonight. It was a pleasure having you with us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Katharina Chang.
And I'm Samir Suluddin. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Till then, take care and good night.